I'm Andrew Wigley, and I wanted to take the opportunity to introduce you to our new Grant Makers Study 2020, which is a review of new grant-making foundations and trusts which were established during the last year. So, first thing to say is this is not a review of all grant-making trusts established across the UK. In fact, we have focused only on those which are registered with the Charity Commission for England and Wales. The Charity Commission for England and Wales is the regulator for about 90% of grant-making trusts and foundations, and so it provides an extraordinarily accurate picture of charitable activity and philanthropic activity throughout the country. That said, there is a Scottish regulator and a Northern Irish regulator, but we didn't use the data from those two regulators simply because the data sets are different, are presented differently from that of the Charity Commission. So the headlines, well, the interesting thing is that 1,700 foundations and trusts were established during the course of 2020, and this was the highest since 2012. So this prompted us to take a look at what had been happening over the last 20 years. And what we discovered was that between 2008 and 2012, there was a very distinct peak in the establishments and the setup of grant-making trusts and foundations. And to our surprise, we discovered that 17% of all grant-making trusts and foundations established between 2008 and 2012 are spending over £1 million a year. So it's a sign of, I think, a valuable indication of the philanthropic intention that comes about during economic adversity, and maybe a pointer to what may be happening now as we look at the 2020 numbers and we see that we had a spike in the number of foundations established. Now, a couple of things to say about both education and international expenditure by grant-making trusts. Across 20 years of data, we can see that 53% of UK grant-making trusts and foundations established since 2001, they're prioritising education as the main purpose for their grant-making activities. And I think that should provide quite a lot of encouragement to higher education institutions if they are looking to the UK for funding. The other thing I'd point out is the internationalisation of philanthropy in the UK is clearly on the rise. So around 34% of all grant-making trusts and foundations established in the last 20 years have set out that their focus is to fund programmes overseas and outside the UK. And in fact, in 2020, that number rose to 38%. So again, I think if you're looking as an institution from outside the UK at funding opportunities here, I think there's every reason to be optimistic that you'll find some trusts and foundations that might align to your activities and what you're looking for funding for. Take some time to look at our study. It's, I think, an interesting and revealing piece of information. We have included some of the funders and philanthropists who've set up foundations and trusts. Most of them, you probably won't be surprised, are high net worth individuals and their families. There are some examples of corporates that established, but they actually are quite a small minority. More information at universityphilanthropy.com. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me.